didn't do against Alabama. And their tight ends, like Dale did, definitely monsters. They're like that they can go
6'7", 6'5", 6'9".
And I don't want to be right about like that.
And they can run like wide receivers. So.
And good afternoon, everybody. We are back for segment 3 here on this Saturday afternoon. We've already gotten into the NFL and our picks and all that. We went into some 91 Redskins reminiscing and talking about the name change a little bit. In this segment here, we're going to jump into the Wizards, talk about some NFL coaching news, and see where else this discussion takes us. But I'll kick it over to Harish to get us started. Let's do it.
So on the last show, we were discussing what the Wizards will do in this stretch of games and how they will perform. And we were spot on. They are not performing well, and it clearly showed against the Clippers. I mean, I watched,
that was the one we thought they would win.
Yes, and they were by 35.
35.
But when I watched the replay again of the game, it was a lot closer than it seemed, even though like they were up by 35. It was a lot closer than it seemed. But then what stat that just jumped out at me was the 10 turnovers by like overall. Like Beal had 5, Dinwiddie had 4, and it was split between Kuzma and I think Rui had 1 too. I'm not sure. But overall it was 10 turnovers. And why is Beal handling the ball? We called it from the beginning, and we stressed it. He's the Klay Thompson of our team. He just catch and shoot. Even though Klay handles the ball from time to time, but I mean, it's not. He's not the predominantly ball handler. Steph is, and what this shows is we may need to have to trade Beal to get someone else in return. I mean, at the end of the day. He said like he says the right things, but he's not doing the right things. And I just feel that if you take him out of the equation, I think this team is a lot better without him than with him in it. I know it's blasphemy to say. I know it's blasphemy to say that, but look at the productivity. Like even when he scores 20 points, he almost has like 50% of it in turnovers. So it's like, what's going to give? And then when he played 40 minutes and only scored 3 points, even if that, I mean, come on. And then the Clippers play their bench players. So you're saying that your starters could not handle their bench? Their bench is that great? And I'm super pissed because they should have they should have beaten by 50 for God's sakes. Not lost. And okay, fine, whatever it may be, you can say that wasn't a foul on the 3-point line or whatever, and he won the game by that. Here nor there, it should have never gotten to that position. Never. And I said this on the previous show. To be a great team, if you're up by 10, you got to win by 40. All right. And at the end of the day, this team is just a mediocre team. Right now, it's a mediocre team. And I also believe Wes Unseld, he was like laughing and joking when they were up by that. But as a coach, yeah, you can have fun, but he needs to understand the game's not over yet. The game's not over. And at the end of the day, I just don't understand what's going on. I really don't, because if you can't trade, and I think you have to trade, you just have to. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things. Who are you going to trade? You're going to trade Beal? I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I think we just need to trade Beal, Bertans, and even KCP. Trade all of those guys and get more pieces back. Keep Kuzma. Keep your young guys. Keep Rui. Keep Danny. Keep Kispert, because they're the future, and they ball. If they get the opportunity, they ball. And Kispert's going to make his dumb plays, and that's just growing pains. That's what Danny did his first year he was here. But he grew into a top, at least I'll probably say an elite defender off the ball. Elite defender, because even when he was against DeRozan had some tough shots to make. So at the end of the day, he was making it hard for him. It wasn't easy. But I digress. I think trade better pieces. I'm done.
Yeah. 35. If you're up 35 at any point in the game, I don't care if it's first half. I don't care when it is. If you're up 35 at any point in the game, you don't lose that game. You can't, because it's not possible.
Mhm.
But they just showed us, like, it's not possible to lose the game when you're up 35. But they did everything it took to make it happen anyway. Like, they pulled a miracle, a reverse miracle out of their hats, or whatever, wherever they pulled it from. The players don't lose a 35-point lead. Only a coach can blow a 35-point lead. When you're the coach and you notice things slipping away, and you notice you're losing to a bench squad. Ty Lue didn't play a single starter in the second half. When you realize that's going down, and your starters are letting that happen, like, don't you at some point, like, counteract that with your bench? Okay, so Gafford played 12 minutes and had 12 points. Why is Gafford only playing 12 minutes in a game where you're up 35 and you lose? Like, what? Who else is on this team, on the floor, playing so great that somebody who had 12 points in 12 minutes can't get back on the court? I mean, did I miss something? What did I miss there? Like, what is going on here?
I'm gonna do a sound effect. Okay, I'm gonna do a sound effect. Okay, and see, and if you can agree with me, they played like.
That might be too much credit. They play worse than that. When you're up 35 and you lose, they play like corpses. So I don't know if corpses make noises, but if you have a corpse noise, I mean, 35 points. Like I said, you have to try to do that, and even trying to do that is hard. So they put in a lot of effort to lose by 35. Like, when you have 35, all you have to do is take the ball every possession, let the shot clock run out, and you'll win the game. So they had to put forth effort to lose. Like, so when you say, okay, we were texting after that, and I said, I'm bringing the coach in, and I'm interviewing him on the spot, and I'm asking him, all right, look, bro, what is your plan? And if I don't like what he says, then I'm firing him right there, because that's inexcusable. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, because now you're the laughing stock of the league. Like, you became the laughing
They're a
stock of the
clown
league.
show.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you become the laughing stock of the league for the fans.
If all they get when they come back home are boos, then they're lucky, because I wouldn't even show up.
Yeah,
Screw them.
why would you?
This happened at home. You lost to a team that is down their two best players, and then didn't even play any starters from missing the two best players, didn't play any starters, and they got blown out in the second half.
It was so, even with the replay, when you were watching it again just to see what happened, it was so frustrating to see that this is what I saw. Beal taking it up, double teaming and triple teaming Beal, turnover, score points. Oh, coming down 3-point shot, it's good. No defense, nothing.
So his assist percentage this year is the highest it's ever been in his career, which tells you that he's playing point guard way too much. He's handling the ball way too much. I'm sure his turnovers are up there with the highest in his career too. It's way too much. This should not be his role.
Nope.
And I can't blame him at this point, because he's not, like, maybe he is demanding that role, but the coach has to stand up and be like, nah, bro, this ain't for you. The coach has to stand up. You brought up benching Dinwiddie before. The coach they can't trade him. They can't trade that contract. Nobody's going to want him. You got to bench him.
You have or come off so they can't play together. Like, it's not working.
No.
Dinwiddie and Beal cannot play together. Like, in all honesty, I think the starting lineup has to be this: Neto. It has to be Neto. The reason why I say Neto is because he's just a point guard, and he doesn't care about passing it to Beal or whatever. He'll make his own shot. Or you have Danny as point. You have Danny as point, and you make him bring up the ball. I mean, it has to be someone else. You can't run the offense through Beal. You just can't. It has to be somebody else running the offense and then creating for Beal. Beal can't be the creator and also the scorer at the same time. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
If-
I
if-
don't mind him creating his own shot. He's actually very good at that. I don't want
100
him facilitating.
that's
I don't
yeah,
want
that's crazy.
him being the primary ball handler. That's not. I'm not even saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I don't want him doing it.
No,
I don't want him. I
no.
want my okay. Let's say they don't make a single move and they keep this woeful team together.
Mhm.
Kyle Kuzma needs to be Beal's Robin. Beal needs to be Batman, but Beal doesn't need to be primary ball handler Batman.
Mhm.
Kuzma needs to be right there with him as far as touches and shot attempts, though. What you said about starting Neto at the point, I ain't gonna argue with that. I don't want Dinwiddie starting, and who else do they have? Holiday. I don't want Holiday starting either. So it
No.
has to be Neto because that's all they have on the roster right now.
Yeah, and that's the
Um,
thing though. Like you
yeah.
signed Dinwiddie for maybe that was such maybe that I mean now hindsight's 2020, right? Now we're seeing the kind of what's going on, but I don't think Dinwiddie's a starter. He has to come off the bench. And in all honesty, like I think most of these KCP can't start. Like maybe you have to have Dinwiddie, KCP, and Harrell come off the bench as like the second unit. And
With Rui.
kind of
I mean, Rui can be on the second unit.
Rui-
Frankly, I'd move him, but second unit is fine.
yeah, I mean, Rui is getting his legs back, so it's going to take him some time to get back to that first unit. But I'll have him in the second unit too until he does. He has to prove to you that he can do it. I mean, this is not like I think I tweeted this as like the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. That's with any sport. That's with any sport. If you're a superstar, you play like a superstar, but those superstars know the name on the front is more than the name on the back. And they will say, hey, coach, I'm not playing well, so let's make something happen. Somebody has to say something. I don't even know if they had a team meeting. I mean, you can fight all you want. Like, I don't care, Harold.
They actually did. They got together and watched the game.
Mhm.
So they watched the embarrassment happen back and on in a film session. They all watched it together. So
But
you know,
talk
I'm
is
not even
cheap,
gonna
though, bro.
I'm not even gonna say that hopefully they learn something from that because it's still one of those. I don't care if you learn from it. It's inexcusable. I don't.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
not. I don't want you learning lessons from that. I don't want you doing that. That
no,
can't happen. It's
no.
an embarrassment to the game. To the game of basketball, you should feel ashamed. You should have woke up the next day and said, "Basketball, I'm sorry that I brought shame upon the sport," because that nah, man.
And the thing is, if they want to be like the prowlers in the East, is that what they want to do? You can't like they'll they don't understand that what they did is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. They should say sorry to the fans first, number one. They should say sorry to the fans, number one. And then and be like, you know what? Like what we showed, but the problem is this, man. Like it's like this excuses, right? At the end of the day, it's gotta stop. Like, what are you going to do to put a product? Because we thought it was, Scott Brooks. Okay, he's out of here now, right? He's out. It's Wes Unseld Jr.'s show now. We can give him a long leash. He's a first-year coach, and we can see what he's trying to do with all the mess that he has right now. But at the end of the day, something's got to give. Like something's got to be like, all right, enough with these excuses. Let's start playing basketball. And what they showed was not basketball. It was more of like, oh, okay, ha ha ha, I scored and we did all these crazy plays and we're up and let's lax a little bit. I mean, I know everybody has that killer instinct, but they need to somehow kind of bring it back day in and day out and make sure that this incident does not happen again. Because the memes that we saw was embarrassing. It was funny, but it was just like, as a fan, you're just like, I can't have some people dog my team like this.
Yeah, so late in the game when they had already blown the lead and the Clippers were just about back in it, KCP hit a layup. He was celebrating afterwards. Beal hit a big three and was celebrating afterwards. Well, it was like doing the calm down thing and on all that. I don't want to see that in a game where you had a 35-point lead. Like you have no room or reason to celebrate that you finally did something. Like after they came all the way back. Like at that point, like after you made those shots, you should have been like, you should have had an embarrassed, horrified look on your face that you let it happen. I mean, let's grow up here. Let's be serious. Like you let a bench squad come back and you're celebrating because you made a shot against guys who probably wouldn't even be in the league if it wasn't for COVID. Like,
Yeah.
let's be serious. Like, come on now. So if it's me, no question, I gotta move Beal. I keep saying I love him as a player. I think he'll go somewhere else and be great. It's not that I don't. It's not him. He just doesn't fit here for whatever reason. You got to move him, get Sabonis. Whatever else you got to move, you got a serviceable point guard in there. Move it. Rui by KCP by. I'll move anybody. I said anybody but Kuzma before, but after that, I don't know if I consider anybody untouchable, including the coach. You want Wentzel? Give us a call. I mean, tell me you'll give me a pizza or something. You can have anybody. I'll blow the whole thing up. If they have to go full on tank mode, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with sitting through a couple of crappy years to get a couple of guys who can take this team to, contender level, like legit contender level, rather than languishing in the playing game every year. Beal had the nerve to come out and say, I think this was after the game, where he said, if we're in the playing game this year, it's a step back. After what I just saw, no, it's not. Y'all fools are lucky if you make it to the playing game.
Yeah.
So let's be serious. Let's put the games aside, the jokes aside, and be serious about what this team really is. And that's a joke.
I think we've exuberated so much energy on this. It's just like, I don't think, like, if they don't show us what's going to happen in the next, let's say, 10 games, I mean, at the end of the day, that's a good sample. I mean, we already seen it was fool's gold to begin with. The 10-3 start, we're kind of realizing that it was just fool's gold. I mean, I think everybody in this Wizards fan base fell for it, and they kind of came crashing back down to size. So it begs to differ. Is the coaching staff doing what they need to win? Are they putting the right pieces together to win? And the last few games, I think they have not. And they're not, like, the assistant to the assistant, that was bad. I mean, you can say, all right, you can chalk that up. But the assistant coach, kind of fumbling and bumbling, that kind of shows that some people are not on the same page. And me, like, I mean, if I ever was coaching, if I see my team down by 10, I automatically call a timeout and say, hey guys, what's going on? You can't let, like, there's certain teams, like, you can let them crawl back in. Like, your team can come back, but sometimes you just can't do that because their confidence are shot. They're like, oh my God, we're down by 10. What can we do? I will just call a quick 30-second timeout and be like, hey guys, come on, kick your head out of your butt and start playing some basketball. Like, they're no better than you. You just like kind of playing soft. And you know what? Even Brian, what is this 3-point shooting stuff? Like, I mean, you're not Dirk. You're not like anybody else. You are a center. Move within the center realm. Hakeem Olajuwon, I think, who's the greatest center of all time. That's just my opinion, because that was my favorite player ever for that. I just loved the way he moved. People came to him for his footwork in the paint. Shaq came to him. He only shot a very few percentages 3-point shot if he wanted to, but his game was all in that paint. You have the size and you have the height. Use it. You go to him, go call him, be like, hey, I need your help. None of this like 3-point shooting or whatever. Gafford is the bruiser, so he knows what his role is, and he needs more playing time. If Brian ain't cutting it, it needs to be Gafford. And I love Gafford. And I think if he can control his fouls, which he has, if he can play a little bit more like situational basketball, I guarantee he'd be the best center in the league, besides like Jokic from thing, but like he can be up to that level. Up to that level. Bryant now, since he's lost so much weight, he's thinking he can become the next Dirk Nowitzki, chalking up shots. That's not his game. Never was. I mean, if you want to have an 18-foot game, okay, I can say, okay, I can live with that. But you're going out into the realms of the Stephs and the, all the 3-point shooters in the league. I mean, you're costing your team points and you're costing your team like rebounds. I don't understand it. I just don't. I really don't. Because back in the good old days, if a center shot a 3-pointer, the coach would come back and be, hey, you're sitting on the bench for now. Like, you're not doing that again.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure they are having issues with trying to put a rotation together with everybody being back now, but you can only excuse that so much. And
Mhm.
again, with the 35-point debacle, I'm not giving you any excuses for that because
yes,
that's yeah, I've gone down that road enough. But I just some changes have to be made here if they want to
Mhm.
have any hope to save this season. I don't really care about saving this season. Like I said, I'm fine with blowing it up and starting over from scratch. They need to go ahead and do it and just bite that bullet and just go ahead and tank and be better in 5 years.
And
At
you know
least,
what the
at
funny
least,
thing is? I don't think we've had a legitimate all-star since the Wall era. Since the Wall era, because we had the big three back in the day, with Arenas and Karam Butler and Antoine Jameson and Brendan Haywood, right? I'll even throw Brendan Haywood in there because I like Brendan Haywood. So, but since then, we really never had like that all-star kind of person to put fear in him besides Gilbert Arenas. John
well,
Wall,
these
okay.
past the last season and the season before, Beal has been playing at an all-star level, and then last year you had Westbrook. I brought up Westbrook last show.
Mhm.
Uh, I would give the guys we got for him back to get him back because I think, and I know he has his flaws, but at least he cares. At least like the 30 blowing the 35-point lead, that'll never happen on the team he's on.
But you know what the funny thing
He
is?
would never let that happen because he cares.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? I think him and Kuzma can play well together. That's the funny thing.
Probably.
I, I can just, I mean, because all Westbrook needs to do is like, for some reason, like I just feel that when Westbrook is the point, when he was the point guard on this team, everybody around him respected him. There's not that respect in that locker room. Even though they say they have respect for Beal and all these things, I really don't think deep down inside they're not like what they say they are. That's just me. I mean,
Well, everybody
maybe,
respected him and he made everybody better. Like Bill had his
yes,
best season playing with
yeah,
Westbrook. So,
right.
you know,
I mean, all
look, I said
Westbrook
what I
needs to,
said. That's how I feel.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
awesome. Yep.
So we had some coaching moves this week. We can switch gears
Oh,
out of the
yeah.
passionate NBA talk there and pick up with some one a questionable move, one a move everybody expected that we really already got into with the Broncos move there, and then one with the Giants. Not out of left field, but again, it's I'm not sure it's going to work out the way they're thinking it's going to. But we can go ahead and start it off. You can and with the Colts there. What do you think of that move? Bringing in Eberflus. I mean, not the Colts, the Bears. He was from the Colts. Bringing in their defensive
See,
coordinator.
they don't need a defensive coordinator to run that team. They don't. The Bears had a decent defense. It wasn't about their defense that led them into trouble. It was their offense that led them into trouble. Justin Fields, if that's your future, which we've had our reserves on him from day one, they need a person who can coach him to be a quarterback. The defensive minded guy ain't going to come up to a quarterback like, hey, you got to put your feet this way. You have to put your hips this way. Your mechanics, you have to go throw that way. He's not going to do that. And who's he going to bring? He's going to bring his defensive guys to coach the defense, and he's going to pick like his friends who he knows are good offensive guys. Nah, the Bears are just being the Bears because they just want to have that. So, in my opinion, I think everybody tries to replicate that blueprint what the Ravens did about having a very strong defense, and then you just need like a okay QB and certain pieces and trying to put everything together. But the funny thing is, the Ravens had great offenses. It's just Trent Dilfer won a ring because of that defense, but Trent Dilfer was not bad quarterback. He was okay. I mean, you can't say that when he needed to make the play, he made the play. All right, let's put it like that. Justin Fields is a growing quarterback. He's not going to make those plays. He needs somebody there to lead him and to understand, like, hey, this is what you got to do. Retrain his mechanics, retrain his brain, because Nagy didn't do it. Of course not. I mean, heck. And this guy's not going to do it. I mean, the Bears are just being the Bears. I'm sorry. But you know what? As I always say, prove us wrong. Prove what the talking hat said is wrong, and then we'll eat crow. All right. But until then, we we were spot on a lot of things. So
Yeah,
that's
but
just me.
I don't like the move because I don't know who the dude is, and that's probably on me. Maybe I
Mhm.
should know who he is, but I feel like I'm not the only person who heard this dude's name for the first time when he was announced as coach of the Bears. The Colts defense didn't blow me away at any point. They were
No.
fine. But the Colts, the strength of their team was their running game. So I don't know what about that defense stood out so much that it'll make you even consider this dude for a head job. I don't see them proving me wrong here. I think the move was a mistake.
Mhm.
Not surprised because the guy, and at least he's black. They had their new GM. He's new to the job, so I don't know. I don't know if he chose this dude. I don't know if this dude was chosen by higher ups. I don't know who the guy is. Maybe they had a relationship. The dude was a player, the GM, so maybe he played under him at some point. No idea. Don't know what the connection is. Don't get
Yeah.
it. Don't know what he's going to do as far as offense. They did need somebody to come in and develop Fields. I don't get what's going on here. I thought after they fired Pace, they'd have some kind of direction, but no, it's the typical Bears. That to me is a typical move for them. I think they'll be worse off because of it. I think they'll be in the basement of the division.
You think it's from the owner?
No, she's old, decrepit woman. She's no, but
Sorry.
but somebody like right beneath her probably had some.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I don't because if they didn't, I don't know where this came from.
Right.
It's over my head. Maybe, like I said, like you said, maybe they'll surprise us. I don't see that. I expect nothing but the worst.
Well, I say that by surprise is because that division without Aaron Rodgers is open. I think it's open.
You're sleeping on Detroit.
No, Detroit will be good next year. I'll bet some money on them next
Detroit's
year.
division to lose.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you look at it, like they've only lost their games by like a field goal or so. I mean, every game was by a point, and
They were close games. And they've got some good pieces there. I think they can build that team up in the draft. Maybe hopefully get somebody to come there too. Need receivers.
yeah,
I think they'll be fine.
they'll be fine. What about the Giants hiring that guy from what was his name?
Daboll
State,
from the
yeah,
Bills.
from the Bills. Yeah.
Um, I think they believe, and he probably convinced them that he can come in and fix Daniel Jones. I don't know that Daniel Jones is fixable. He has so much raw talent. Like he has a good arm. He's fast. Like everything is there for him to succeed at the NFL level from a talent perspective. But I've never seen anything out of him that would lead me to believe he would be the guy. Like I
Mhm.
said about coaches on the first segment, like I said about coaches being in the QB's ear at the line, maybe Daboll thinks he can do that for him. He did it for Josh Allen. Josh Allen didn't come into the league as Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's that now after some coaching. So maybe he can develop Daniel Jones. That'll be talk about miracles. That'll blow my mind. I will have all the respect in the world. Not if they win. If he makes
Mm.
Daniel Jones look decent, that's a miracle.
Now, do you think Josh Allen's productivity will go down because his OC is going over to?
Nah. Nah.
You don't think so? I think there may be a little of a step back. I'll say this, depending on who they get to run that offense.
I think they keep going. I think they have somebody. I might be mixing up somebody.
Because my opinion is like this was a little bit of more of a pass happy offense because you have to use his talent, right? And almost
and this is what I thought. Their quarterback coach.
Okay.
And the guy who is really working with the quarterback the most is Ken Dorsey. He used to play for
Mhm.
Miami. I remember him when he was playing.
Yes.
He's there now, but there's talk that Daboll might bring him to New York with him. So
Oh,
we'll see
wow.
what happens there. That would be
Yeah.
a promotion. So maybe Buffalo will promote him to OC, or maybe the Giants will take him as OC. We'll see.
Yeah.
If they keep him there though, there won't be any difference in how they.
No, yeah. See that's
We'll
what
see.
I
That's
wanted.
a developing story. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because that's very crucial to Josh Allen's next. Like he played at an elite level now, so it's like who's going to run that offense so he can keep playing that elite level.
Yeah. Like I said also on the first segment, I think he's made that leap now though. I don't think the coaching will have as much of an impact on him as it maybe would have before this past season. I think he's arrived now.
Yeah, because that one play, I forgot the Kansas City defensive end when he was coming across, he stepped up into that pocket, dime pass. dime pass. So
Yeah.
that shows maturity, that shows the growth. And I mean, in all honesty, man, like I don't think no one can beat Buffalo next year. I mean, because they're bringing back everybody. It's just that this one, it's sad that Stephon Diggs had back-to-back, like he's pretty upset. So maybe he just wants to like maybe next third time's a charm. Maybe next year they'll go and maybe make the AFC championship game and bring back the old
I think they'll work on solidifying that defense.
Yes.
They can get the defense playing on a close level to what the offense is.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can hang with them
Yeah.
at that point.
No, sir. That's geez. But since we talked about that about the coaching carousel that happened, because that was it wasn't breaking news. It was because we kind of figured out, but some of the news was shocking for certain individuals. But I would say this: with February 2nd coming up with the name release for the Washington football team, I'm kind of irritated the way they're handling the fan situation. Apparently, I thought they're going to have a watch party or a reveal party here and land over here in FedEx Field, but apparently it's up in New York.
Yeah.
I thought it would be here, but that should not happen. I'm sorry for all that stuff. Like I understand it's on a global scale, like you want to build the brand on the overall, but you first got to win your fans back. Who at that point, to me, global scale, whatever, I don't care. Who's going to be in those seats? It ain't going to be the global people. Yeah, jersey sales, yeah, whatever, big deal. Yeah, okay, global jersey sales. Okay, woo-ha, yeah. But it's the fans that live in this area you need to come back to. And what they did was a huge deal. Hire me to be your marketing guy. Just hire me. I will change this in a minute. Okay, I will work. I'll bring my brother over here. We will change this in a minute. Okay, we will change it. Hire us. We will change everything you know about marketing and fan appreciation in a month. You give us a month, or give us a year. Give us 1 year. We will fix this entire thing.
Yeah, see, teams used to have to care about attendance because that's how the teams primarily made their money back in the day. With the TV deals now, they couldn't care less about that. They don't care if you come. They don't care about concessions the way they used to.
Yeah.
The Falcons have low prices. Everybody else keeps their prices high, but they don't care if you buy stuff. They don't care if you buy their jerseys. You don't have to anymore. The TV deals are so massive, they could play them. Like the COVID year, they lost a little bit of money, but it didn't destroy them because the TV deals are massive. So as long as people are watching, and people watch, so they don't have to worry. They don't have to really care. So they can have the reveal up in New York. They don't have to placate to the fans because it doesn't matter if they show up.
Yeah.
The Snyder's have always been about New York. I don't know if they're. I think he's local, but they maybe Tanya's from there or something. But New York has just always been their spot. So I'm not surprised they're doing it there.
I think it's a spot because of the news, like because they're doing it on what NBC, something on like I think I don't know where they're going to do it or
Today
whatever.
Show.
I'm sorry.
Today Show.
On the Today Show, so it's going to be like a 9 o'clock reveal, or
it's between 9 and 11, something like that. They haven't given the time yet either.
Yeah, which is also ridiculous. I'm like, we got meetings and stuff there the day, man. At least we can chalk off some time to watch the damn thing. And I swear to God, if it's the freaking Commanders, man, I'm gonna be like, because you know about my jokes sometimes, and the jokes that are running in my head with that name is not safe for YouTube. I'm not going to say it on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't dig it, but at least I've got another team to fall back on in the Broncos, and they'll be good next year. So I don't have to care about the Commanders next season.
maybe I have to I'll probably just have a soft spot for the Broncos then.
Yeah, you'll be rooting for Aaron Rodgers, and
I'm
they
just
said they're going to run an aggressive offense, so that'll be fun to watch.
Aggressive, man. If whenever Aaron Rodgers does make the decision that he's going over to Denver, do you know how much publicity is going to come up there where y'all live?
I mean, no more than when Peyton came, so we're used to this.
Yeah, and Now, do you think they'll be Super Bowl favorites now if Aaron Rodgers comes to plan?
Maybe, but I don't agree with that. I wouldn't.
Mhm.
They wouldn't be my pick to win the Super Bowl next year.
Mhm.
As good as they are, I just think KC is still better. I think Buffalo's still better.
Yeah.
That division is going to be tough. So for whoever comes out is going to be battle tested.
AFC
The Raiders,
West, right? AFC West.
yeah, where you have the Chargers with Herbert, KC with Mahomes, and then
Yeah.
Derek Carr with the Raiders, who should be better unless they hire Josh McDaniels. If they hire him, they'll be in the basement. So that'll be the laughing stock of the division. Because he's just a joke of a coach. He's a joke of a person, horrible person. Hate him. And I don't think he ever deserves a coaching job again. He's just a loser. I mean, a highly paid loser.
Eric Bieniemy to the Raiders. Eric Bieniemy to the Raiders.
That ain't gonna happen because they're all talked to. They're not gonna hire a black dude.
They had Archell.
That's how long ago was that? I mean,
yeah, that was like Jesus, like in the late 80s, early 90s.
The guy who hired him is no longer with us. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that'll be a brutal division. But some fun to watch games. That'll be highly entertaining.
I will actually
Rodgers
stay
and
up.
Mahomes twice. Rodgers and Herbert twice. I mean, that'll be some fun watch.
I might actually get the NFL package just for that. I might just get the NFL package. I mean, I'll probably spend a little bit more and be like, you know what, screw it, because that's what makes football fun, man. It's like, defensive battle. I love defensive battle, right? But when both teams are going back and forth, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, people here don't really care about the football team anymore because they've been so bad so long. It's just like whatever. But out there, when the Broncos, even when they're bad, people care. But when they're good, like it's a different place. And so it's going to be fun to be living there and while that's going on. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not a Rodgers guy, but he will bring excitement to the area and people will care even more than they already do. So
with his long hair flying over everything.
Yep. And his aiming eyes and all that. Yep.
Yeah. The high altitude kills the germs. High altitude kills the germs.
Maybe it'll help him, maybe thin air will give him some sense or something. I don't know.
Hey, lightheadedness, people do a lot of crazy things, man. A lot of crazy things. Oh my goodness, man.
Well, something I wanted to talk about.
What's up?
I believe Von Miller, I believe his contract is up after this season. There was talk when the Rams brought him in about extending him, but I'm 99% sure they have not gotten around to that yet. He played with Del Rio in Denver. Del Rio left the season before his best season in 2015 to go coach the Raiders, but he had some good years from 2012 to 2014 under Del Rio. With his impending possible free agency, would he be somebody you'd be interested in bringing in to Washington at his age? He'll be commanding a high salary still. He's still an elite pass rusher.
We have so much cap. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. I'll put it this way: this year, if Chase Young don't perform, all that hoopla is, he like. So Charles Mann said that he bought into the hype, right? And he clearly showed. Charles Mann said that. But one thing I didn't like what Charles Mann said is, "Hey, I'm here, call me, but I don't come for free." And I'm like, yeah, I understand this is a business at the end of the day, but your legacy should precede all the business stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand you want to get paid for your service, but I don't know that just put like a kind of a bad taste in my mouth. But here nor there, with Von Miller. And just imagine, I mean, because the way my brain works is kind of a little bit different. You got Deron Payne's probably gone next year. He's probably going to get traded or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they'll probably pick up someone else to fill his role. You had him, or even Ioannidis might start. Who knows? I love Ioannidis. So if Ioannidis starts, then you got Allen, then Montez Sweat, and you have Von Miller on the ends.
And linebacker is a position they have to address in the offseason because they're very thin there.
Yeah.
They've got a developing Jamin Davis. Maybe they can keep him in the middle with some more coaching and experience.
Yeah. They need a weak side linebacker. They need to get rid of. They signed Mayo, but I don't think he's the long-term project. Like he just.
He is just a project.
Yeah.
With Von Miller, despite his injury concerns, despite the high salary, I will take him 10 times out of 10 because I know how much the dude loves football. Like he's a chill dude off the field. When he's on the field, like he cares. Like he's like Westbrook. I want players who care. I don't want you just out there getting paid. I know Vaughn cares. I know he does. That like him coming and being healthy now is making all the difference in the Rams and their continuous progression throughout the playoffs.
Mhm.
Having a guy out there like that, it's infectious. So I want that on the I want that on this defense. I'm not sure how realistic it is. I don't know if he consider coming here. We'll have to see if they develop enough to where he consider it. But I could also see Denver
Yeah.
wanting to bring him back and him wanting to go back. But I don't know what their cap situation is like with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be taking a big chunk of that. So I don't know
Yeah.
what that's going to look like. But I'd be all in for bringing him here.
Dude, like the
All
thing
in.
is, there talks of having like the Washington team going after Russell Wilson and going after all these other like if Russell Wilson, once he gets on the market, the Washington should be his number one destination, and then Von Miller coming in. It's like it makes sense from a cap standpoint because we have so much money, right? But at the end of the day, we've done this rodeo before. We've gotten all the superstars past their prime, and Russell Wilson's not past his prime. I'm saying, but I'm just saying in kind of context is we've done this rodeo and it didn't work. You can't just buy players to build your team. Like if I was the team, I'll go after Russell Wilson because he's a proven quarterback. Von Miller, I may have to pass up on, even though I would love to have him. You may have to pass up on him because with the system that they run, I mean, he'll just come in on third downs. He'll just be a third down specialist to rush the quarterback. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you just need that. But with the injury concerns, if he gets injured, then you lost a player for depending on how severe the injury is. So it's almost like you have to kind of like not take the bait in the sense that, oh, that's the shiny object, and say, I want that shiny object. I'll do whatever it takes. So I mean, in my opinion, I'll probably, if I'm thinking with my GM cap on or whatever, I probably will go after Russell first because we need an established quarterback first before we even concentrate on that defensive side of the ball. Because what Heineke ain't going to do it. I mean, I like the guy. I like his tenacity. I think he'd be a great, locker room person. You need some of those guys, but he's not a starter, unfortunately. He's more of a backup, kind of like almost like when Carson Wentz got hurt and his backup came in and played. What's his name? He won the Super Bowl. Nick Foles. Perfect Nick Foles. That's all you need.
Yeah,
But,
and I mean, it makes sense, of course, to go after Russell Wilson and all these top tier quarterbacks, but they're not going to come here. So they have to be realistic in their approach. It's not even worth wasting time going down that road. He's not coming here. I mean, we can dream all we want. It's just not going
That's
to happen.
true.
So they
Yeah.
need to pursue like more realistic targets, like a Jimmy G, who I like, but fans are kind of pooping all over. I don't care what fans think. If fans knew anything, like you'd be working in front offices. But that's not how it works. Jimmy G passes my eye test. His record passes the eye test. He has what it takes. I frankly wouldn't be surprised if he's the second act of Tom Brady down in Tampa. I wouldn't be surprised if when Tom Brady hangs it up, they target him because the rest of the team they have there is strong enough that he doesn't have to win them games. So I think
he's from the Bay Area, Tom Brady. He is from California. I think he's from like around that area, I think.
Yeah. But he's done. I'm not talking about like trading him for them.
Oh no.
I'm talking about Jimmy G replacing him once he
in
makes it
Tampa.
official. Yeah, once he makes it official that he's done. I can see that happening because they're not gonna go rebuild mode. I mean, by any means, not with that roster. So bringing in a guy like him, I can see him stepping in when Tom steps away, and that'll be, they'll pick right back up where they left off, and again, to me, be the favorites in the division with the Jimmy G there. But if I'm Washington, I want a guy like that. I don't care what haters say about him. I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he'd be good here.
I like Jimmy G too. It's not like, it's almost like if you tell him, hey, dude, like don't do the crazy plays in the end of the game, just control the game. But the thing is with him is he takes the risks that earlier on in the game so it doesn't bite him in the butt in the end. But certain plays that he does in the end is the ones that he just has to limit. If he limited those, but at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, it is what it is, right? But the thing is, I like him as well, is because he still can he can win you games. It's proven he can win you games. So you should go after a quarterback who can win you games. And the line is perfect for him too. I mean, you have the weapon. You have McLaurin. You have some young receivers. They probably need another receiver for him to kind of like kind of shed off, because over there when he went to the 49ers, he has Debo. He has a lot of weapons, a lot of weapons. So at the end of the day, like if I was Washington, I mean, why wouldn't you go after Jimmy G? That's the safer bet, cap friendly and safer bet.
Yeah, and I want them, like I've been saying, I want them to target receiver with their first pick. They got to get a compliment. I don't even know that I'd go the free agency route. You don't need to pay.
Who's going to be receiver
even
free
know.
agency though?
I don't even know. And Calvin
Yeah.
Ridley's going to be on the market, but I wouldn't touch him with the 10-foot pole. I'm not interested in guys who just he sat out apparently for mental stuff, but I don't. To me, it seemed like he just didn't want to play for a bad team. I'm not interested. I'm not going. Somebody else can deal with that. I don't.
Yeah.
No thanks. They need to get a receiver. I'd draft one. And then they're getting Logan Thomas back, so that's another target. Yeah. So
for me, like the draft of Washington, what they really need to do is focus on the defense. Like, don't get any. You can get a quarterback in the later rounds. Just focus on that defense in the first. Like, I don't know how many picks they have. They probably.
I don't. I mean, I guess, but it's not a defensive league. I'm not spending too much money or picks there. I want the offense to be elite, and then the defense will follow.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, I feel that you have like true, but also you have to stop the other team from scoring. So even if you do, like,
or you can outscore them.
Or outscore them, yeah.
The rules in the league are geared towards the offense. So I mean, you can spend money there and all that, but if the rules are against you, then I mean, unless you're getting guys like Aaron Donald, Von Miller, unless you're getting these elite type players, but to draft just pieces, not high. Not when the offense is having the struggles. Not when there are so many question marks and holes on the offense. That's the only reason I'm saying. Like, if the offense was fine, then I'm all for building the defense. The offense is not fine, so I mean, they got to put some money and effort there.
True, yeah. I mean, because the thing is, if they're going to go for quarterback, I would get them in the 3rd or 4th round. I'll get them later.
Yeah.
It's not a heavy league. Yeah,
I wouldn't draft a quarterback in the 1st round. Not this year. No,
not at all. Next year, yeah. Next year, it's going to be a good quarterback.
I don't know who's coming out. I think Bryce Young, but I don't like QBs like that, so I'm not interested.
No, Bryce Young won't. I mean, he's not. I'll probably target someone else from a different school, maybe the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 or somewhere else. I mean, Alabama's Alabama's only for offense, defense, and receivers, running backs.
The lines, yeah, receivers,
yeah. I mean, quarterbacks maybe like somewhere else, because
I will pass on that.
Yeah, definitely. But besides that, I wanted to ask you, with all these changes happening in the East and even the AFC and all that, who do you like with our picks that we made early on, right? Like, who do you see winning the Super Bowl outright this year?
I'm sticking with the Rams.
You sticking with the Rams?
Yeah, picked them, bet on them. That's what I'm sticking with.
So I'm going to go with. I think the 49ers. It's going to be Jimmy G's last send off before he leaves for free agency.
See, that's what I want, because I want them to be in that position where they have to make that move to get rid of him, because they're going to do it, and I want them to do it, and I want it to backfire on them. It'll just be interesting to see if they're put in that position, just to see them make that call, because it's a tough call, but their decision's already made. So I just want to see them in that spot and squirm. I just want to see that. That'd be funny.
Because I just want to see a good old like Bengals and San Francisco's, because the league's going to hype that up like, oh, it's the rematch from the thing for the Bengals side of things, and kind of like play it, put like a marketing scheme all over all that, because they're going to love all that stuff. But man, oh, nice.
It's your book.
Is that my book or your book?
Yeah, yours.
Oh, it's yours. Oh, nice.
You let me borrow it.
Yeah. Cool.
If y'all are having debt issues,
Dave Ramsey's book.
This book will fix your life.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the haters. I know Dave Ramsey says some crazy stuff sometimes. I used to think that too, but then I started listening to the dude and really listening to what he was saying. It makes sense. We live a debt-free life, so if you're having issues, like, don't have issues, listen to what he's saying. So,
Yeah, and he offers free classes. He has a lot of stuff, and he's on YouTube.
This is
So I mean,
this is not political. I'm not making a
nope,
political statement. I'm talking about finances. If you're having issues,
money.
get it together. That's how
Yeah,
you do it.
yeah, because in this day and age, a lot of people forget a lot of things, and they get themselves into a little bit of a bind and stuff. So his his strategies have actually helped a lot of people get out of where they are. So you
See,
know,
I've always been like anti-debt. It kind of makes me like when I have any kind of debt, it makes me itch. Makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like owing anybody anything. I don't like even borrowing your book. I was uncomfortable about it, but I wanted to read it because I listened to them.
yeah,
But I don't like borrowing money or anything from anybody. Um, so I've always kind of like tried to live that way. But like listening to him let me know that I was A, on the right track, and B, just it helped me nail down on where I had those life leaks, like
mhm,
putting a budget in place. It helped me pay off my mortgage. So I didn't even think that was realistic. So if y'all are listening and that's ever something you want to do, listen to the way Ramsey puts it in place for you, and you'll get
yeah,
there.
man. Dude, like within the family, like borrowing stuff is like you can borrow a book, you can borrow, but one thing I've learned over the years is lending money to family is I stopped that a
You
while
don't
ago.
you don't lend money to family. If you
Yeah.
give somebody in your family money, consider it a gift.
Yep.
You can donate. They can say, "Will you loan me something?" But when you give it, don't ever expect to get it back, and
Nope.
don't be the person who has to pressure your family. It'll make your Thanksgiving dinners awkward. It's
Yep.
not worth the money to go down
Yes.
that road. So if you're gonna
And
give it, and
yeah,
consider it gone.
as Mr. Wonderful says, is I don't lend money to people, or I don't lend money to family, but I give them as a gift, and it's a one-time gift, and that's it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't ask for it, I don't need it. I don't want to come it back, because at the end of the day, if they have to pay you back, it's not going to happen.
Feel free to
So
say no. That's
yeah,
fine. But if you give it,
listen,
don't expect to get it back.
exactly. And at the end of the day, it's your money. You shouldn't feel obligated to do it to anybody. I mean, it's your hard-earned money. You know what to do with it. Don't like listen to, oh, this, that. No, don't do that. And
Yeah,
as
I'm a
Dale
giver.
was,
I enjoy giving. I do it for selfish reasons. Giving makes me feel like it makes me feel good. So I do
Mhm.
it because it makes me feel good. I don't do it because I feel like I'm helping somebody. It's purely selfish.
Yep.
If somebody asks me for money and I'm giving it, and I do it like, let me borrow $10. All right, I'm giving you this $10. I'm sure it's helping you. That's fine. But I'm doing it because it's making me feel good. I don't,
Mhm.
selfish reasons.
Yeah. And that's us life lessons we've learned over the years as we've gotten wiser. So I mean, we went through some stuff, so we're just sharing a little bit of our lives to you. So it is how it is. And if you guys want some more, we're an open book.
I
So
will talk about anything. So
yes.
sports is just what we use as the foundation for it. But
Mhm.
I said when we first sat down at the table, that the discussion could go anywhere. We haven't really strayed from sports just because there's been a lot going on. But with the NFL season coming to a close here, we
Mhm.
can't just talk Wizards all show. I mean, we could, but I don't know how exciting that'll be exciting for me, but I don't know how exciting that'll be for everybody else. So this, as the season winds down, discussions could go anywhere. So expect that. Look forward to that.
Mhm.
Throw some topics at us, and we'll go down whatever highway, wherever the
Yeah.
discussion takes us any week. Yeah,
And we're counselors too, so and we're free. So if you need if you want to like have a,
great listener.
yeah, we're all great here. And if you need like a little bit of advice, we'll share what we've done in our in our previous stuff, and hopefully, we can try to help you out in any way we can, and try to like help
I
you.
know a lot of stuff. I know a little bit about everything, um, and some things I know a lot about. So, whatever anybody, if you're having any kind of issues, I'm 42 years old. I'll put that out there. I'm not ashamed. I am what I am. I've been through a lot, seen a lot of life, lots of relationships, lots of everything. So, anybody need to talk, anybody need anybody to listen. I enjoy it, and have a lot of good insight that I can offer to anybody too. So, yeah, financial relationships, anything,
Hmm.
sports.
Our bread
Yeah,
and butter, but we have bread and butters in other venues as well. So
yep, yep.
we're not just a talking. That's why we call the talking hats. And sometimes we do a lot of listening. So
Yeah, but that's all I have for this week. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to touch on. If not, we can go and wrap it up.
Yep, we're good.
We've been going since we started around 12, so almost 3 hours.
So I'll tell you this. This is like my first relaxation. This is enjoying this. This took off so much pressure off like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long. We've been talking about it, but I've been in training for the past like almost 3. It's going on 3. Well, just
it's 3 weeks.
Finished up 3 weeks now, so it's been grinding, long days. But it's good. Training is all about development. I'm trying to get better at what I'm doing. So it's a grind, but it's at the end of the day, it's good. It'll make me better. But this morning, I've been really slogging today because I have to wake up early to babysit. That's fun on a Saturday. I love my boy, but he's the ball of energy. So I was doing some domestic duties around the house too. So I started late on our Zoom and needed my coffee. I was on that first one, and Tim, I was dragging. I was like, my brain was like, coffee, need coffee. So I had to get that going. Feel a little bit better now, but yeah.
Man, because I haven't slept properly in the last week and a half because we have a thing due like on Tuesday, and there were some issues. What happened? They caught it, and we were just, man, it was just And I was like, man, and I was like texting Dale and David, and I'm like, I'm literally running on fumes. So if the jokes come out bad, please.
But hey, we got to unwind today a little bit, and then tomorrow we've got meeting up with a friend of ours. We haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since.
I think since you came back. I don't think I've seen him. I don't think I've seen him in 2 years since the COVID thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in at least 2 years. So it'll be good to catch up. We're gonna go to Reston Talent Center if anybody's in the area and want to stop by. I forget the spot.
It used to be. It's right next to Uncle Julio's. It's a new
brunch
or whatever.
Yeah, so we're gonna be at Reston Talent Center tomorrow, catching up.
Yeah, I think I used to be Harry's or whatever it's used to call. So we'll be there, and we'll be there. Hopefully, like our estimated time is at 11 o'clock. Who knows when we get seated, but we'll be there. So
have to get another bowling night going at some point too before we leave.
Yeah, where to again? Sorry,
we have to get another bowling night going too before we leave.
Oh yeah. When are you guys like planning on leaving?
We're heading back on the 12th.
Sep 12th. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we'll be back in our Colorado mode. So I'll be getting up even earlier to record. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting home. There's no place like home. This was home, but it's still knowing that all my stuff is there now. It's like this is my place. This is still my place, but my stuff isn't here, so it's not the same.
It's like your home is where everything is, like with you and Raina as together, right? So at the end of the day, that's your home. This is just like, hey, you know what? This is still your home because we're gonna miss you like heck when you do leave, and like we don't really think, but we'll definitely have we should do cosmic bowling. I'm gonna do the handshake roll now even more.
I thought they did that like after the league stopped. But maybe I'm guessing they didn't do it because nobody was really there.
We just have to go to a different one. That one's horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going back to that one either way.
Yeah.
But the Bolero in Centerville might do it.
We can call ahead and find out and stuff.
We'll figure that out. But I definitely want to bowl again because I got hot towards the end. So
you did
212 to close it out, just so y'all are aware.
Dale is an exceptional bowler. He's a pro in disguise. So
I'm a bowler and I'm a shooter. That's my two things.
Yes. Yep.
Challenge me in anything else, you got me. But I'll beat you. I'll beat anybody in bowling. That's a standing challenge to anybody. If you want to, a friend of mine thought he could beat me, came out, smoked him. I mean, that's just my thing. People have their thing. Bowling is my thing.
Yeah, and he's really good too. So
I'm not a cheating two-handed bowler. I bowl one-handed, and I'll crush anybody. So,
yeah, and he'll outspin you guys too. So yeah.
I know a lot of people are getting into that two-handed thing now that I don't.
Well, two-handed thing that.
If you watch the pros even now, the younger
one
pros,
guy started doing it. Now everybody's doing.
He's not on top anymore. There's a young guy doing it now, who's one of the top bowlers now, doing the same two-handed technique, which is going to give you way more rotation. But I think it's cheating. I don't agree with it. it's just not, it's unorthodox. So I don't like it. I'm old. I like old fashioned. But yeah, like I said, that's all I got.
Yeah, same here, man. It's just been a pleasure, like, talking to you guys, and thank you for the Twitter following. We're up to 40 something now. So our goal is to get to 100 by the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll keep growing. Yeah.
We'll keep growing, and please grow and come and like our subscription too. So if we can get 100 followers too on YouTube, we'll give you a hat.
If you build it, they will come. So we just got to keep doing our part, and then
Yeah, and I think that's all. Peace and love as always.
Like, subscribe, support. We'll support you. Thank y'all. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with another show. Talking Hats, and we are out.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.